It's a wet commute and a WRAL weather alert day. We'll see some showers this morning. It may be a little bit breezy, and we'll talk about when this whole system moves on out.
And we are tracking those wet roads this morning. Imelda's lingering rain could mean a messy commute. The WRAL Storm Tracker live on I-40 West this morning with the conditions you need to see before you leave the house. And time is ticking away. We are less than 24 hours away from a federal government shutdown. How it could disrupt jobs here in North Carolina. Welcome in on your Tuesday morning. It is a WRAL Weather Alert Day. I'm Michelle McConaughey. Let's get right over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center talking about the next weather maker as well, Elizabeth.
Yeah, this is a busy map. So we have Imelda down to the south and Umberto that's still well out to sea. And Umberto is going to give Imelda a hand and start to pull it out to sea today. But we do continue to have this plume of tropical moisture that has been moving into our area. We've actually had a tropical flow, for days now, but it really intensified just in the last 24 hours or so. So Doppler 5000 radar showing some showers, not as much along the I-95 corridor, but we're seeing this band from Raleigh westward, so Durham, Sanford, Fuquay, Andrew, back down into the Sandhills. Our best chance of rain will be between now and around 8 or 9, and then once we get past lunchtime, it tapers off. There could be just a sprinkle or two. We'll walk through Futurecast and kind of talk about that. Let's talk about Tropical Storm Imelda. It's getting close to hurricane strength. The wind's at 65 miles per hour. It's still moving north at 7. But right here, of course, is Umberto, and both of these storms are going to start to take a big old right turn. Here's a look at that forecast path. Could become Category 1 by tomorrow morning, but moves right toward Bermuda and away from us. So what are our impacts? Mostly light rain this morning. We're going to be seeing some messy conditions. By the middle of the day, the rain starts to taper off, and most of the area will turn clear as we get overnight. So we're going to see some drying conditions tonight and definitely tomorrow. But this is what it looks like as you're heading out the door in the triangle. It is wet out there, wet on the camera lens. 68 as our temperature. And it'll be cool today, feeling like 60s for most of the day, and a high late this afternoon of 72.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. And Tropical Storm Imelda giving us one last shot of rain today for the morning commute. Ali Calabar is in the WRAL Storm Tracker along I-40 West near RDU this morning. Ali, what's it like out there? What are you seeing?
Well, that steady, inconvenient rain that we've seen over the past 24 hours is what we're seeing right now on the roads. We want to give you a look at that. But we can also see that the roads are drenched. We're not seeing any flooding right now. We are seeing just those wet roads, slick roads. So you're going to want to make sure you give yourself distance, especially if you have old tires. Just making sure you're being safe out here and cautious. But we do have those windshield wipers on. We see that steady light rain right now, just an inconvenience for people's morning commute, which we're expected to see throughout the morning. Reporting live in this WRAL Storm Tracker, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
And as Elizabeth was talking about, Imelda will turn out to sea today, but it's still impacting some parts of the North Carolina coast this morning. WRAL's Monica Casey live on Carolina Beach this morning. Monica, wind gusts and rip currents, some of the concerns there.
Good morning. That's right. Those are concerns. But the good news right now, no rain just yet. It is a little gusty. And as you can see here behind me, the ocean is certainly pretty rough. Now, Governor Stein declared a state of emergency on Saturday across North Carolina to make sure the assets at the state's disposal were ready to assist if needed here along the coast. He said in a press conference in Southport yesterday, he's activated the state emergency response team, including public safety, transportation, and the National Guard.
Combined impact of the two storms, Umberto and Imelda, may cause isolated flash flooding, coastal flooding, ocean overwash, wind gusts, and dangerous rip currents throughout much of this week.
In that press conference, Stein says they are preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. Live in Curry Beach, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
And you can track the rain and tropics in real time. Be sure to turn on the push notification so you receive alerts about weather changes in your area. Well, we are headed for a possible government shutdown in less than 24 hours. The government runs out of money at the end of today, and the two parties remain far from an agreement. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from the federal courthouse in downtown Raleigh. And Kelsey, federal workers' jobs could be at risk here.
Yes, Michelle, operations here at the federal courthouse could look a little different in the next 24 hours. Time is running out for another government shutdown. This time tomorrow, all non-essential government functions could be at a standstill. We spoke with Meredith College political science professor David McLennan about what this all means. He says essential services like Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare may not be affected initially, but there could be some serious disruptions in other government operations. The Trump administration is considering mass firings of federal workers.
What the president is talking about is doing mass layoffs if there is a shutdown. That's what could really affect North Carolina, because it may be that people who work at EPA or people who work at the national park wouldn't just get furloughed, they'd be fired.
McLennan says there probably won't be a quick solution to this because of partisan shifts and the fact that we've seen longer government shutdowns in the past, like the 35-day shutdown that happened back in 2018. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
The city of Rocky Mount is cutting jobs. Leaders held a special meeting last night where they said every department will be impacted. Up to 15 police jobs and 10 fire positions will be eliminated. The city says non-essential vacancies and newly created jobs will be among the first to go. A state auditor found the city overspent millions each month for more than 2 years. And now savings are down from $100 million to just $20 million. Well, today we expect to learn new information about the victims in the deadly shooting at a waterfront pub in Southport. A judge ordered 40-year-old Nigel Edge to be held without bond yesterday and is expected to be back in court in 2 weeks. The former U.S. Marine is charged with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. Edge is accused of firing from a boat into a crowd at American Fish Company in Southport Saturday. Investigators say the shooting was premeditated, but they do not have a motive. While Imelda has taken a turn away from the East Coast, the storm's impact will still be felt with rain and wind. Emergency management in South Carolina says the forecast seems to have changed for the better. However, they're not in the clear just yet. Experts say surf and marine conditions will be dangerous through the course of the week.
The rip current threat is high, and we know where there's going to be a high surf advisory in effect off of our shores. So this is a very large beach destination for folks. So we want people to follow the rules. If the lifeguards are there, what are the flags being flown, and understand what the risks are. We don't want folks to put themselves in a bad position.
Emergency management in Horry County says they have the resources they need and people in place just to be ready to jump into action should they need to. Well, 2 school bus crashes are now under investigation in Johnston County. One of them involved kids on board, and video shows the moment of impact. This happened at the intersection of Highway 50 and Mount Pleasant Road. That bus was headed to McGee's Crossroads Middle School when it collided with an SUV there. 9 students were on the bus at the time. Nobody was hurt. WRAL has asked if any charges will be filed. The crash remains under investigation. And that second bus crash involving a garbage truck. This was the scene on Covered Bridge Road in Johnston County. No kids were on board. Troopers say the school bus crossed the center line. The trash truck tried to avoid it, and it went off the road into a ditch. Looking ahead, more charges are expected. Deputies say nearly 50 guns, a truck, and a boat were stolen. 2 men now under arrest in a joint Warren and Halifax counties investigation. Sheriffs say more arrests could follow as well. Well, today is the last day for that $7,500 federal tax credit on electric vehicles. Starting tomorrow, EV buyers lose the incentive, and that means prices will go up. Automakers are weighing whether to respond with price cuts, better financing, or new incentives to keep sales moving. Many rushed into buy into September before those savings disappeared. Happening today, the State Board of Elections meets this afternoon. The remote meeting starts at 3 p.m. The public is invited to watch online or by phone. And on the agenda, campaign finance penalties and filing county board vacancies, among other issues. Coming up, the Michigan church shooting, the latest on the investigation into the suspect, what we're learning about who he was, and also his military background. Also, understanding the risks. Childhood cancer left the NC State football team with a broken heart. The risks parents can watch for, plus the efforts to honor a coach's daughter. And this is a live look at Curie Beach this morning. Tropical storm Imelda moves away today. Just ahead, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner explains what that means for hourly rain chances.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:43, and we're taking a look at the big picture. Of course, we have Imelda off the coast of Florida, and then Umberto, actually not too far from Bermuda. Of course, both of those storms are going to take that big right turn and continue to move away from the U.S. as we get through the day. We still have this plume of tropical moisture just moving right into central North Carolina. We saw that all day yesterday. We're going to see it at least through the morning. We're starting to dry out a little bit already there east of I-95, but we definitely have some steady to heavy rain in the western part of the viewing area. So from Raleigh to Durham, down to Sanford, Angier, Carthage, Southern Pines, up through Chatham County as well. We're seeing some showers right now. The best chance of rain will be this morning, and then later this afternoon, that chance tapers off. And eventually overnight, the rain shuts off and we'll be back to some pretty weather. But we do have the top of the tower lit right now in green for rain that we'll end up seeing as we head through at least the morning hours. Tomorrow, it's just a small chance. And then Thursday, Friday look absolutely beautiful. We have a really nice looking forecast once this moves out. We'll take a closer look coming up. Michelle?
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Everyone is now accounted for after an attack on a Michigan church left 4 people dead. Investigators continue to sift through the ash and rubble following that horrific attack. Hospital officials gave an update saying of the 8 patients who arrived there, 1 died, 7 others survived. They range in age from just 6 years old to 78. 5 of them were shot. The others suffered from smoke inhalation. And officials are still looking to learn more about the Iraq war veteran suspect, his military background, prior arrests, and arsenal that include 4 IEDs. Meanwhile, a friend described him this way.
If you asked me, out of everybody I know, to pick 10 people you think might do something a little like this, I wouldn't not pick him. And I hate saying that.
Kara Pattinson went on to say that she feels especially bad for his wife and son. And we are still working to learn more about the person found dead in the landing gear of a plane at Charlotte Douglas International Airport. The body was found during maintenance work for the American Airlines plane that had recently arrived from Europe. American Airlines says it is working with law enforcement. And while hiding in a plane's wheel well is extremely dangerous, it is the most common method used by stowaways. In 2019, the Federal Aviation Administration said 77% of people who attempted to stow away on aircraft died. The state health department launched 3 new review panels to improve child welfare. They're made up of everyday people, and their job is to make recommendations on how to improve this system. You can apply to serve on the board. Applications will be accepted through October 25th. Well, a familiar scam is making the rounds again. The Chatham County Sheriff warned that some people are getting calls saying they owe money for missed jury duty. We've reported on this sort of thing a lot in the past. These calls are not real. If you get one, just hang up. Well, fans and the community continue to honor the memory of Drew Elliott, the daughter of NC State defensive coordinator DJ Elliott. The family announced that she passed away after a 6-year battle with Ewing sarcoma. Drew Elliott's battle with the disease is both heartbreaking and rare, and these tumors make up just 1% of all pediatric cancers. According to the American Cancer Society, Ewing sarcoma of the bone is the most common form. The disease usually occurs in children and teens and often starts in places like the hips, shoulders, ribs, or legs. A Duke Health pediatric oncologist says the reason sarcoma isn't usually spotted early is in part due to a lack of awareness, and because these symptoms can be confused for things like growing pains.
You know, we often don't think of bone as a connective tissue, but it is. And because they arise deep in your bone, it's not like you would notice a lump or a bump. But usually the child will feel pain, and that's how these will get detected.
About 225 children in the U.S. are diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma every year. And the Ellett family is working to raise money in Drew's honor to support the hospital where she was treated. We have a link to donate on our website. Just look for this story on WRAL.com. All right, let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. It is a WRAL Weather Alert Day. That lingering rain sticking around, Elizabeth, but that's going to go away later today.
It is, yeah. Today we're going to see the rain starting to clear, of course. We're going to continue to see Imelda moving away from the coast, and so it turns east today. Rain will decrease this afternoon, and it will stay breezy. But we're not talking about any wind that's going to cause real problems. It's just, going to be inconveniently wet this morning as you're headed out. Here's a look at where Imelda is right now. Of course, that's Umberto. Imelda, 65-mile-per-hour winds, still moving north at 7, but of course makes that big right turn today. Might become a hurricane before it moves across Bermuda. That may happen tomorrow, and then it really picks up speed and just zips off to sea. This is Umberto. It has weakened significantly since yesterday. Winds down from 145 at noon yesterday to 115 now. It's still moving northwest at 14, but again, today makes that curve around Bermuda and weakens as it moves on out into the North Atlantic. So this is a look again at satellite and radar, and you can see that plume of moisture that's coming up from the south, and that is continuing to bring us some rain. We also watch what happens as Umberto starts to make that right turn. It's going to sweep Imelda up behind it and drag it along. Imelda is a much weaker storm than Umberto, and Umberto is kind of sucking up everything that's around it, including Imelda, and so Imelda will just sort of follow along right behind, and there they go. So late tonight and then into the day tomorrow, we get into a northerly flow, and that's going to be a drier flow, and we'll start to see some sunshine returning. Mostly the western part of our viewing area seeing rain right now, but that does include, say, Fayetteville, Harnett County, north of, north of Raleigh, and then back to the west, Hillsborough, Chapel Hill, over towards Siler City. That's where the rain's falling right now. How much have we seen so far? There definitely have been a few pockets where it's heavier. Radar estimate of over 2.5 inches near Sanford, and also about 1.75 inches just west of Durham, not too far from Chapel Hill. But most of us have seen anywhere from 1/4 inch to around 1/2 inch of rain, and we still could see another 1/2 inch. This is a look at this morning, and you can see some waves of rain continuing to move in as we check out Futurecast. But once we get into the afternoon, that really starts to scatter out, and we can see a few sprinkles, but that's about it. And again, maybe another 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain before it's all over. This is a look outside right now in the Triangle. The rain is coming down. It's messy out there. 68 is our current temperature, and we're watching the winds today. Right now, we're seeing some gusts in southern Pines to 17, but our wind is out of the north at around 5 to 10, and we'll likely see some gusts up to around 20-25 miles per hour. So today's a WRAL Weather Alert Day. Tomorrow, we're back to sunshine, and we have beautiful weather in our forecast. Of course, we are seeing this system affecting the coast at least somewhat. We'll take a look at some of those impacts coming up.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. From the rise to the resignation of a world leader, and a new documentary about one Tony winner's road to becoming a mother. What's new in theaters and on streaming? Plus, a trip down memory lane. McDonald's puts a high-tech twist on an old-time favorite. What you won't see in Monopoly this time around. The story of one actress's motherhood journey, and a new documentary about the rise and fall of a prime minister. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
The world, Chuck. Everything you've ever loved. Everything you see.
If you didn't see The Life of Chuck, there are 2 ways to catch up. Tuesday, the film based on the Stephen King short story comes out on 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray, and DVD. And Wednesday, it's back in theaters for one night only.
Every time I got on a plane, I would look out a window and I would think, from that mountain to that river, that is my responsibility. Oh, this is normal.
Prime Minister covers the rise, reign, and resignation of New Zealand's Jacinda Ardern as she dealt with sexism, various crises, and giving birth while in office. The documentary debuts Tuesday on HBO Max.
I had 2 big dreams when I was little: to be a mother and to have a career as a singer and an actor. Until I grew up, and it felt like striving for one threatened the other.
Satisfied profiles Tony winner Renee Elise Goldsberry, her difficult road to motherhood, then leaving her children nightly as the only mother in the cast of the smash Broadway hit Hamilton. Satisfied is in theaters for 3 nights only beginning Tuesday. Locations and showtimes at fathomentertainment.com. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
McDonald's Monopoly is back, this time with a high-tech twist. The promotion is back. The actual game board is not. The game will now be played in the McDonald's app. If all pieces of a property are collected, customers can redeem prizes like free food and bonus points. The biggest prizes, a new car and $1 million in cash. In Lee County, the Rotary Club of Sanford unveiled a new mural today. It celebrates the club's 100 years of service in the area. The design highlights key initiatives like the fight to end polio and school supply drives. Ahead at 5, we are tracking the lingering impacts of Imelda. Here's a live look at I-40 East near Durham and another look on our coast. The conditions you need to see before you head out the door. And we are less than 24 hours away from a federal government shutdown. The impact for workers here in North Carolina. Plus, lead in food. 5 on your side shows you 3 products recalled because they contain too much lead.